It's my great pleasure to invite Aaron and Kyle Combs and their adorable son crew up here to share their story. Let's give it up for Crew!
Good morning, everybody. My name is Aaron Combs. These are my two honored heroes in my life. This is my husband, Kyle, and of course, my awesome and incredible son, Crew. You owe me one for this, buddy. He's too young to talk about this in volume, so I'm going to go ahead and sum it up for him. 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, and 1 day ago, one word at Texas Children's would change our lives forever. Leukemia. Kyle and I were clueless as to what leukemia really was, but it was just a matter of time before we became experts. When we walked into the hospital that evening, we knew something was going on, but we still felt optimistic. In fact, our family ironically sang and danced on the way to the medical center to Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. We had no idea that in less than an hour, it would be 13 days before we would walk out of that hospital again. Just 1 year, 1 month, 1 week, and 2 days ago, our lives had seemed normal. Granted, there were a few things underway that would prompt a visit to the pediatrician. 4 weeks prior to this, we had started Soccer for Tots. I noticed the following week that Crew's shins were covered in bruises. I mentioned it to his teacher, and I remember her saying, "Get used to being the mom of a boy." The following week, the bruises had not begun to heal, and Crew was having some constipation. His stomach felt hard, and his appetite began to diminish. We attributed this to the constipation and thought maybe all of this bruising means he's anemic. His skin color was off. Again, we were thinking about things like iron supplements and remember buying shakes that were loaded with iron. Cancer wasn't even a thought. We made a visit to the pediatrician soon thereafter and basically demanded blood work for Crew, especially since the pediatrician had only diagnosed a simple ear infection. Crew had had 5 ear infections prior to this one, but we had never seen him like this. There were not enough technicians that week for a pediatric draw, so his tests were postponed until July 10th. The week prior to the 4th, Crew seemed extremely lethargic, and his cries for mommy became more frequent. Something didn't sit right that July 2nd. We took him up to Quest, and I told the desk attendant in not so many words that I didn't want to go Denzel, but that I felt it was urgent to do the blood work with the holiday upon us. Thankfully, they were able to handle the testing. Again, we still thought he was anemic. Leukemia was not even a consideration. The results would prove otherwise, and this is where our journey began. Friday, July 3rd, 2015, Crew's 2.5-year-old birthday, we received a call from Quest asking us to make a trip to Texas Children's in the medical center. There were some numbers they wanted to retest, and with the holiday upon us, felt that it was the only facility capable of turning around the numbers in a timely manner. I remember walking into the ER. It was like we were royalty. No long wait, and we sped through the paperwork like it was nobody's business. In hindsight, it's because they all knew, and we were clueless. Within the hour, we demanded an explanation as bags of blood were being brought in, and teams of doctors were preparing for something. A doctor finally came into our room and told us, "I know you're not gonna like what I have to say, but there's a 95% chance your son has leukemia. With a hemoglobin of 1.8, white blood cell count of 108,000, an enlarged spleen, enlarged liver, and 80% leukemic cells in his peripheral blood, there wasn't much time to think about our situation. We had to react. We were lucky our child was still breathing, and the doctors were amazed that Crew even walked into the hospital on his own. In a few short hours, we were on our way up to the pediatric intensive care unit. All 3 of us, curled up in a cot. Kyle and I could not keep our hands off of him. It was comforting just to feel the small of his back rising and falling with each breath. Machines, nurses, doctors, constant beeps. The sense of urgency alone was terrifying. And I think in the back of our minds, Kyle and I thought we were going to lose crew. However, we woke up the next morning after a night of multiple blood transfusions, and our little boy was back into action, smiling and dancing with an IV in each arm. There was absolutely no way we were going to lose him. From this point on, we united in strength as a family to kick leukemia in the face. Later in the week, the doctors determined that Crew had acute lymphoblastic leukemia, commonly known as ALL. Given his age and diagnosis, we were told that Crew's likelihood of remission was extremely high. The chemotherapy began very quickly, and so did Crew's response. After 8 short days of treatment, the leukemic cells in his peripheral blood had completely diminished, but his battle wouldn't stop there. His treatment plan would be a minimum of 3.5 years. Still moving on adrenaline and caffeine at the hospital, we didn't have much of an idea what that would be like for our family. This past year has been filled with an infinite number of commutes to the hospital, infusions, lumbar punctures, dressing changes, hospital stays, an endless amount of medications, another endless amount of medications for reactions from those medications, pokes, pricks, numbing cream, surgical procedures, vomit, blood, platelet transfusions, hair loss. But by far the worst part of this has been watching our child be the one to endure it all. The agonizing cries, the pleas for not letting them poke him, watching them hold him down for procedures, seeing the neuropathy in his feet from some of the chemo, having to undergo another port implantation because his first port eroded through his chest, feeling helpless as he's hooked up to machines, just the tears he shed alone. As a parent, we would do anything to trade places with him. However, I don't think we could have battled this beast with the amount of courage and strength this little 3-foot miracle has shown the world. We have watched this 2.5-year-old boy become a 3.5-year-old man this past year. His age is a bittersweet number. He isn't old enough to fully understand what's going on, but he isn't old enough to reason with either. We can't force him to take medication because it can help prevent the chance of a relapse, but we can convince him to take the medicine via lollipops and toys, and in turn blaze through our life savings on Shopkins and Push Pops. Although we've come across some major forks in the road, we found that at every detour, how lucky we are to have both the personal and medical support to fuel us towards a victory. Spending so much time at the hospital has truly made Kyle and I realize that we are very fortunate. Many of these families do not have the likelihood of a favorable outcome, nor, hey, okay, everyone, I'm wearing Spanx, thanks. Okay. Nor do they have the personal support of friends and family that our battle crew has demonstrated. We have been blessed with understanding employers, an endless amount of friends that will stop at nothing to help, and a family that lends a hand anytime we need a thing. This is where organizations like the LLS come in. Not only do they provide financial support and resources for families less fortunate, they provide our doctors with the research they need to do their jobs and let us do our jobs as his parents. Since this journey began, believe it or not, I have never Googled leukemia. We are lucky to have a medical staff at Texas Children's armed with an ammunition of research and knowledge combined with an incredible amount of love for our son. We have trusted them more so the plan before us. God makes no mistakes. He chose this little fighter and our family. Leukemia has made us all appreciate what can be stripped away in just an instant. We've been able to create laughter, make memories, and manage to embrace this vile disease. Remembering back to his first lumbar puncture, he took it hard. He puked all the way home. Once home, Kyle asked how it was, and Crew said, "Oh, it was fun." To which Kyle replied, "If you thought that was fun, you're really gonna love college." Call us unorthodox, call us crazy, but you'll never call us scared. With Crew leading our team, there is no doubt we're gonna win this battle. This is just the beginning of Crew's story, one we can't wait to share with them down the road. It's unreal to me the amount of inspiration Crew has created. What's even more unreal is that he doesn't fully comprehend the big picture. He's just an innocent little boy, naively thinking this painful routine is what life is about and somehow enjoys it. Leukemia, the word that once terrified us, now glorifies us, and we've been kicking it in the face ever since. Thank you.